Hello, friends. So, at the start of the project Rasa, we've looked at the brief history of Rasa back in 2016 17, and I thought it would be nice to look at a bit more recent blog posts by Rasa. So, one of the major developments in 2020 by Rasa was that we're a step closer to getting rid of intents. And I thought this is quite an interesting development because in 2017, the first paper by Rasa, the open source language understanding and dialogue management, I've just quote one of the paragraphs in the paper. Rasa's core approaches take a different direction to many different recent research systems, and there's no current support for end-to-end learning, where natural language understanding, state tracking, dialogue management, and response generation are jointly learned from dialogue transcript, and Rasa language understanding dialogue are fully decoupled. So I guess in 2017, 2016, it makes sense because in engineering terms, it decouples the different modules and you can train the different modules differently. And since then, they've combined the NLU and also the Rasa core. So fast forward to 2020, the end-to-end learning Rasa was talking about in the blog post was that we go from the user input text directly to the dialog manager instead of going through the NLU module to extract the intents. So instead of intent, we've got here we can now include directly the user text. We can also include the entity labeling as well. So looking at forum posts and docs, it seems that Rasa is taking kind of a hybrid approach where we can have both intents and user input text at the same time. So perhaps this is the best way forward at the moment, whilst the end-to-end, complete end-to-end is still in active development. So what Rasa meant by that is that we can have inserted intents to guide our chatbot for certain action, but we also can also have like a user input text in it as well. And personally, I'm quite interested in kind of understanding and knowing the development rationale behind getting rid of intents because Rasa started off in 2017 by having a decoupled system. And they have like a text classification for intents, which is very suitable for domain specific knowledge because we've got a limited amount of samples. By reducing the number of thousands of possibilities of user input into a few predefined intents, that really helped the performance at the start of early development of Rasa. So back then, the intent classification, and I think it still is inspired by the Facebook star space, where we calculate the similarity between, say, the user input text and the target action, and then we have also got some negative sampling as well. However, the argument is that as custom-built models get more and more complex and the responses starts to fall into the one category, the informed category. And in a form situation where we want to extract different entities and having all these kind of user input into the same intent doesn't really clarify what the next action is going to be. And that is one of the reasons why Rasa wants to move towards getting rid of intents, because in order to have a more natural flowing conversation and responses, having intents actually restricts us to have to categorize those responses into the predefined intents. And getting rid of intents is one of the ways, or one step closer to getting a higher level in terms of the 5 levels of AI assistance that Rasa has proposed. So in the highest level is where we have got different chatbots or different assistants communicating with each other. So we have got an autonomous organization. And that prompts me thinking, at the moment, is it possible that we can have like a generic chatbot, generic assistant, like in a call center, and then when there's any difficulties, then we just escalate it to a more specialized, domain-specific assistant. So yeah, I'm quite curious to see Rasa's research development, and if you're interested in checking out the blog post, feel free to. I'm going to post the link in the descriptions.